47%. That is the share of products marketed to women for hair growth that, when researchers checked the claims, could point to no clinical evidence at all. Not weak evidence, none. Meanwhile, the treatments with decades of trials behind them cost less than a birthday dinner. Something is upside down in the hair loss industry, and today we flip it right side up. Every product category sold for regrowing hair, ranked, honestly, by what the evidence actually supports. This is the summary video of the entire channel, the one to send a friend who is standing in the aisle with a bottle in each hand, wondering which one deserves her money. The rules are simple. Each category gets judged on three things: strength of evidence, cost per month, and honesty of marketing. Let us begin at the top. Tier 1. Proven, effective, first line. 5% minoxidil foam, once daily. The most studied treatment for female pattern loss in existence, phase 3 trials in thousands of women, roughly a fifth more hair count versus placebo over a year, decades of safety data, generic prices around $10 a month. The catch? A shedding phase in the first 2 months, a lifetime commitment, and it works for as long as you use it. Marketing honesty, high, because it is regulated as a drug and the claims are policed. A word about what success actually looks like on minoxidil, because the photos online lie in both directions. The realistic outcome is not a full reversal. It is density you can see in photographs, a part line that stops widening, coverage that reads normal at conversational distance. In the trials, the strongest responders regained roughly a fifth more hair count, which does not sound like much until you see it on a head, where it is the difference between a scalp that photographs and a scalp that disappears. Some women respond strongly, some modestly, a minority barely at all, and nobody can tell you which you are before month 4. Verdict, the first purchase, the anchor of any serious routine, and the one treatment on this list that works even if every diagnosis you suspect turns out wrong. Tier 2. Strong, situational, prescription territory. Spironolactone, the androgen blocker dermatologists reach for, when minoxidil alone is not enough, with studies showing stabilization or improvement in most patients, strongest logic for diffuse progressing loss, and best suited to postmenopausal women because its pregnancy risk drops out of the conversation. Needs a prescriber and periodic monitoring. Low-dose oral minoxidil, the rising star, the same drug by mouth, at 1/4 to 1 milligram, off-label but widely adopted, perfect for scalps that reject topicals and hands that struggle with daily application. Finasteride, the DHT blocker, male gold standard, mixed evidence in women, but real improvement in postmenopausal trials, and reasonable after menopause since the pregnancy concern is gone. All three are conversations, not purchases, and all three work upstream of minoxidil rather than against it. Who this tier is for, honestly. If minoxidil alone has held the line for a year and the thinning is stable, you may never need this tier. If the loss kept moving despite honest daily use, or if your blood work is clean and the shedding is aggressive, the prescription conversation is the next step, and it is a genuinely good conversation to have, because dermatologists have more tools than the internet knows about. Verdict, the dermatologist tier, for when the drugstore is not enough, and worth reaching for earlier than pride allows. Tier 3, real but modest, the honest middle. Low-level laser therapy, caps and helmets, with genuine randomized trials behind them, 15 to 20 extra hairs per square centimeter, after 6 months, drug-free and side effect-free, priced at $300 to $1,000 once, and completely dependent on wearing the thing forever, 3 times a week, without fail. The evidence is real, the compliance is the risk. Rosemary oil, with one genuinely good head-to-head trial against 2% minoxidil, showing parity at 6 months, never replicated at scale, cheap and gentle. Pumpkin seed oil, one small positive trial in men, never properly repeated in women. Ketoconazole shampoo, modest anti-androgen effect, plus real scalp health, $10, a sensible support player. Saw Palmetto, the respectable herbal, 5 small trials showing positive effects, industry-leaning but real. Vitamin D and iron and B12, where a deficiency exists, correcting it is not a supplement, it is medicine, and deficiency is common in women over 50. Verdict, this tier works, modestly, and earns its place as the supporting cast. Tier 4, cosmetic, honest, useful, mislabeled. Thickening shampoos, root sprays, fibers, mousses, powders, toppers. None of these grows a hair, all of them change what your hair looks like, and I mean that as praise, because looking better today is a legitimate goal. The crime is not the product, it is the shelf placement that lets cosmetic sit beside therapeutic without a label. The masterstroke of this tier is sequencing it with treatment, because the women who feel best at month 3 of Minoxidil are almost always the ones who also booked the haircut, darkened the root a shade, and learned the mousse in the same month. Treatment fills the part line slowly. Styling makes the wait livable. The two tracks solve different halves of the same morning, and running only one of them is choosing to suffer through half the problem unarmed. Verdict: buy them knowingly, use them skillfully, expect mirrors, not follicles, and never let anyone make you feel shallow for it. Tier 5, skip, no matter how beautiful the bottle. Biotin, in any form, at any dose, for women who are not deficient, which is almost everyone. Collagen powders at beauty prices for hair outcomes the evidence has not paid for. Beauty blends and proprietary formulas that hide doses behind trademark names. Detox scalp products, follicle unblockers, anything marketed primarily through before and after photography rather than through data. Caffeine shampoos, where 60 seconds of contact time has never been shown to deliver anything to the follicle. And the med spa frontier, PRP injections, exosomes, stem cell serums, where early science is genuinely interesting and current pricing is genuinely ahead of the proof. A pause on this category, because it deserves fairness. Platelet-rich plasma has real studies, some positive, some flat, and the field has not settled whether the protocol matters more than the patient. The honest position is not that these never work, it is that a treatment with unsettled evidence at $600 to $1,500 a session is a gamble, and a gamble is not a plan. If you have the budget and the curiosity, do it with eyes open. After the proven tier is already running, never instead of it. Ask the clinic one question and watch the answer carefully. What would you do if this were your mother? The good clinics answer that one honestly. And the deepest reason this tier exists at all, worth naming out loud, is that desperation has no patience for timelines, and every unproven product on this list monetizes the 4 to 6 months it takes the proven ones to work. The skip tier is not really a category of products. It is a category of feelings, priced monthly. Before the moves, let me give you the thing the tiers cannot, the actual monthly ledger, because the marketing never does this math, honestly. A serious, evidence-based routine for a woman starting treatment this month looks like this. Generic 5% minoxidil foam, about $10. Ketoconazole shampoo twice weekly, about $4 averaged. A basic iron and vitamin D protocol if the labs say so, about $6. Total, around $20 a month, or $240 a year, for a stack where every single line item carries published trials. Now the shelf she walked past on the way to that total. A beauty blend at $35, a collagen tub at $40, biotin gummies at $15, a marine collagen sachet box at $50, a scalp detox serum at $28, $168 a month, over $2,000 a year, for a stack where almost no line item has ever moved a hair count in a controlled trial. The industry has convinced millions of women to pay 8 times more for the version that does less. That is not a mistake of information, that is a design. And the timeline, because the tiers only pay if you give them calendar. Minoxidil, the fastest of the serious treatments, shows its shed at 2 months, its first visible density at 4, and its honest verdict at 12. Spironolactone asks for 6 to 12. Laser asks for 6. Rosemary, the one study everyone quotes, measured at 6. Everything real in this genre runs on half-year clocks, and every scam on the shelf runs on 60-day money-back guarantees, which is not a coincidence, it is a loophole, because 60 days is exactly long enough for hope to expire, and short enough that the real treatments have not even started working. When a guarantee matches the product window of the strongest science on Earth, and undercuts it by 4 months, that guarantee is the scam. Now the 3 moves that beat the entire shelf. Move 1, get the diagnosis before the treatment. Pattern loss, thyroid failure, iron deficiency, stress shedding, and scarring alopecias all look like thinning in the bathroom mirror, and they have completely different treatments. Pattern loss responds to the androgen and minoxidil tools, thyroid failure responds to thyroid medication, and nothing else. Iron deficiency responds to iron, supervised. Stress shedding resolves when the stress resolves, and scares you in the meantime. And scarring alopecia, the rare one, needs a dermatologist fast, because the follicles it kills do not come back, and catching it early is the whole game. 1 in maybe 20 women watching this has something other than pattern loss behind her thinning, and for her, this entire video would have been a beautifully researched waste of a year. A dermatologist visit and a basic panel, thyroid, ferritin, vitamin D, is the highest return appointment in this entire genre, and it costs less than most of the bottles on the skip shelf. Move 2. Photographs, not memories. Same light, same part line, first of the month. Hair change is invisible day to day and undeniable across a photo series, and the photo series is what keeps you on a 6-month protocol through the weeks when the mirror lies. Move 3. 2 products, done daily, beat 12 done occasionally. The women with the best results almost always run a simple stack: Minoxidil foam, a prescription conversation when needed, and 1 or 2 honest supports, and they run it for a year, not a season. This is the boring truth that finishes the video, that consistency is the active ingredient in every tier. The trials did not test clever routines. They tested the same product, the same schedule, for months without interruption, and the responders were, overwhelmingly, the ones who simply showed up. The shelf sells novelty, because novelty is purchasable, and patience is not. Every product that works the way exercise works, through accumulation, and every product that fails quietly fails the way diets fail, through Tuesday. So here is the entire channel in one list: upside-righted, proven, minoxidil foam, prescription strong, spironolactone, oral minoxidil, finasteride after menopause, real and modest, laser, rosemary, ketoconazole, saw palmetto, and the deficiencies found on a lab panel, cosmetic and honest, cuts, color, fibers, toppers, and skip, the beautiful bottles with nothing behind them, which is nearly half the shelf, priced exactly high enough to feel like it must work. The industry counted on you never checking. You just did. Your follicles read blood and chemistry, not marketing. And the women who win this category are not the ones who spend the most or hope the hardest. They are the ones who know which tier they are buying from, buy the evidence, wear the patience, and photograph the progress. 1 closing scene, the one that holds the whole list together. 2 neighbors, identical thinning, identical mirror complaints, same month, same budget. The first walks the drugstore with hope and a basket, spends $1,600 across the year on the beautiful bottles, changes nothing, and concludes nothing works. The second spends $20 on the minoxidil, $10 on a salon appointment that reshapes the whole silhouette, photographs her part on the first of every month, and asks her doctor for 3 lab tests. In month 12, the photographs are undeniable, the hair is visibly denser, and the total spend was a quarter of the first neighbor, except for the doctor visit, which her insurance covered. Same problem, same money, 1 year apart, completely different women in the mirror. The difference was never the hair, the difference was knowing which tier buys what. That is the whole game, and as of today, you know how to play it. See you at the next appointment.